There's not much else to really cover that would be entertaining for you or me. Like, I'm sorry, but how many of you really want to see the evolution of Gypceros? The evolution of Gypceros. Gypceros. Gypceros.
Gypceros.
Gypceros is a bird wyvern introduced in the first Monster Hunter game. He's something of a giant rubber chicken with a blue hide, stretchy tail, and crest that allows him to flashbang his opponents. He's rather similar to the young Kutku, who was introduced in the same game, and as such shares many of the same attacks. This includes the traditional winged wyvern strikes, such as the bite, tail swing, but, just like Kutku, he can also do a triple peck or charge crazily across the arena. While Kutku spits fire, Gypceros spews poison that lands on the ground. Gypceros' peck can also steal items, ranging from potions to paintballs and even traps. He can also perform a world tour-like attack, similar to Rathalos, where he soars around the arena for an extended period of time, ending with a claw attack. As mentioned earlier, Gypceros can flashbang his opponent. He can do this by having his crest strike against his beak in a rapid motion, which generates sparks similar to if you were starting a fire. This ignites his crest and causes a giant flash, which will stun you unless you either guard the flash, perfectly evade, Superman dive, or have an armor skill to negate stun. This gives the fight a unique pacing, as depending on your weapon, you may have to totally back off to evade the attack or push through and keep going. When enraged, Gypceros' eyes and neck glow red, and he becomes even faster. I mentioned that his hide looks like it's made of rubber. Like rubber, it repels both water and electricity, and this means that Gypceros resists both weapons of those elements, but also shock traps. His crest can be broken, which stops him from flashing entirely. He will, however, still attempt to do so, and nothing will happen, which effectively gives you a free action. When Gypceros is dead, naturally you can carve him like an oh! So as it turns out, Gypceros can play dead. The music stops, he falls over and even becomes carvable, but he's still alive and is simply pretending. This flail attack as he wakes up can deal a lot of damage, so when he pulls this trick on you the first time, it can devastate you. Gypceros does this as he's close to dying for real, and when he's in this state, you can't actually deal damage to him, so he can't die while he's playing dead. You simply have to wait for him to wake up, but as a result of this, it can become a bit of a risk-reward dynamic, as you try and see how many carves you can sneak in before he wakes up. Gypceros is mostly found in swamps, forests, or mountains, in addition to cooler parts of volcanoes. Monster Hunter G introduced the purple Gypceros. He is indeed that colour, and when enraged, his eyes and neck will turn green. Purple doesn't do a whole lot differently. Allegedly his tail is stretchier, which gives him slightly extra range, but it's hard to tell. In Freedom Unite's G rank, they both get some new additions. Firstly, they both gain a new tail attack where they swing it back and forth behind them, similar to what Diablos can do, but the Gypceros tail stretches, which gives it unexpected range. Additionally, breaking their crests will no longer grant free attack opportunities when they attempt to flash without them, as instead, they'll release a cloud of poison. Both Gypceros and Purple Gypceros returned for Monster Hunter 4. In this game, they retain the backwards tail swing but lose the crest break poison cloud. They do, however, gain other upgrades. Firstly, the poison they spit will temporarily remain on the ground as puddles. Worse still, they obey the laws of physics and will slide down slopes, making them quite hazardous. Secondly, they can run up select walls and spew poison from them. Purple Gypceros spews noxious poison, which is a shade of fuchsia and deals double the damage. In addition to this, after flashing, he can double it up with an instant flash following a triple peck, which means you have to continue to stay on guard. In G rank, Gypceros pecking you when enraged can inflict poison. He can also spit it high into the air, which means it takes longer to fall and hit the ground, making it a hazard for longer. Additionally, flashing his crest will only take 2 strikes, rather than 3. G-rank Purple Gypceros has these additions too, but he can actually store his charge to release later, causing his crest to glow. It's uncertain when he will release it, and as such, you have to be more careful. After skipping the 5th generation on Monster Hunter entirely, Gypceros returned for Monster Hunter Wilds. In this game, he can be found in the Oilwell Basin during the plenty and fallow weather, but also the Windward Plains, marking his first appearance in a desert region. In addition to this, he also hangs out in the Ice Shard Cliffs, which is unusual for him. Gypceros retains a lot of the same attacks he had in 4 Ultimate, including his G-rank additions and the wall running in select areas, but he can no longer steal items from you. There's also other differences, namely that the poison he spits out is now much more viscous and won't flow down slopes as aggressively. They will however remain on the ground, as puddles and serve as hazards for a brief time. Gypceros in Wilds is much more prudent when it comes to punishing you for getting hit by his flashbang, as he'll often immediately strike with a brand new tail slam. Fully taking advantage of the elasticity, this attack has incredible range. Gypceros can also perform an alternate version where he slams it down behind him repeatedly while turning, ensuring it hits at different angles. He also has another new attack where he'll leap forward twice while gearing up for a flashbang. When playing dead, Gypceros will indicate he's about to wake up by twitching slightly. It's now much easier to see coming, provided that you know it's an ability he has. Gypceros is really annoying. I first faced him in a 4 ultimate key quest. His incessant charging and poison spewing really got on my nerves, but the real horror was that it was a capture quest. The characters needed his rubbery hide to build a ship, and if you recall, Gypceros is immune to shock traps and the characters did warn me about this. So I brought a pitfall, and 20 minutes in Gypceros stole it. The quest was soft locked and I had to restart. Ever since then, I've always held a grudge against him. Now I could have brought a trap tool and nets, extra materials to build pitfalls, but I was a beginner, I didn't know you could do all that mid-quest. But good or bad, Gypceros did end up becoming a memorable experience for me for that reason. I think it is good that Monster Hunter has monsters that are just pricks. Some fights are incredibly satisfying, real dances that bring you into a flow state of sorts, you know the ones. Other monsters reject that entirely, and instead serve to annoy you as much as possible, and honestly I do think that distinction is fantastic and needs to be there. Looking back, Freedom Unite's punishments for breaking his crest is insanely funny. Arguably yes, he does become a little too free when his flash becomes an opportunity for you to do whatever, but having him release a cloud of poison is even worse than the flash, and a lot more annoying to work around. I almost think it's a shame that it wasn't retained for future games. At the very least, Purple Gypceros should have had it as a way to differentiate him. Wild's Gypceros is interesting, to bring back an annoying monster like this. I like the upgrades he has in the form of the new tail attacks. The poison spit is intimidating, and I'm really grateful that the flash doesn't just total white out the screen this time. However, I don't think he's enough in this game, especially because he's a high rank exclusive this time. I would really like to hear thoughts from people who have never faced him before, or people, new to Wilds. But I think it would have been good for his poison to flow once more, or for him to work out his flash doesn't work anymore after a couple of attempts. But these are things that could really benefit a master rank, or better yet, a return of Purple Gypceros. If they were to bring that subspecies to Wilds' master rank expansion, I would like for it to become less weak when it comes to the crest being broken. The way he and G-rank Gypceros make use of the flash in 4 ultimate can be really fun and unpredictable, but it would fly out of the window entirely if breaking his crest is as easy as it is in Wilds right now. So either give him some new abilities post-break, or make it harder to do so. I'd also like to see him have some more advanced poison capabilities again. Finally, the fake death mechanic. It's always been weird to me because even when fighting him solo, it sort of just confuses you. By the time you face him, you're used to the quest complete music kicking in when a monster dies. I don't think you'd actually get tricked by it unless it's a multi-monster quest, and even Wilds, which has unique death music for multi-monster quests, does not play it for Gypceros. The bonus carves allow for a bit of risk reward, and it can be fun to trick your friends who have never faced him at least, but I wonder if there were other ways it could be more interesting. I would love, for example, if there was a rare chance for a fake quest complete screen to actually appear, with the camera angles and everything, and then it could dramatically shatter as Gypceros wakes up. It would have to be rare so it can actually catch you, but it could be really funny. Today is the 4th anniversary of Monster Hunter Evolution's original debut. As many of you know, the series ended after 3 seasons and 45 total episodes, covering many monsters from Rathalos to Fatalis to Volvidon, before finishing at Elatrion. It comprises the first 5 generations of Monster Hunter up to Sunbreak, and ends on a good note. Additionally, I did in fact move on to a new series called Monster Hunter Compendium, which goes into monsters not really covered in Evolution and dives into other things beyond their movesets. So why go back to Evolution? From my perspective, Evolution is still a pretty comprehensive series that doesn't necessarily have to end with Sunbreak. Wilds has just fully wrapped up. There's not only more opportunities for new evolutions of legacy monsters that return to this game, but I can also continue to update the older videos in a sense. This is precisely what I did with Sunbreak, although back then, there were only 13 episodes, now there's a lot more. But either way, I intend on doing the same thing once more with Wilds. There will be 5 new episodes of Monster Hunter Evolution coming very soon, in addition to an update video covering new moveset additions to returning monsters that were previously covered. I'm looking forward to sharing them all with you. By the way, I don't often shill the Patreon on videos, but I've recently started an exclusive video series there, which I dub the Monthly Random Ramble. Once a month, I talk about a topic in a loosely scripted manner. In January, it was the DLC checker debacle that affected the Wilds. In February, it's rotating versus permanent events. It gives me a nice outlet to talk about topical things relating to Monster Hunter, and I intend on publishing one per month. They will remain exclusive to Patreon and are currently available to all tiers. By subscribing, you'll gain access to the monthly random rambles, early access to videos before they go out on YouTube, in addition to being credited at the end of videos. Plus, you'll be supporting me further, which is always appreciated. That is all. So, what do you all think of Gypceros? Purple Gypceros? Were you happy to see him back in Wilds? Did he ruin your day like he did mine? Please let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and have a good day.